You're in the access control business, that's a totally different problem that we're talking about. Now, I think that from a Getting Hell Yes perspective, like what's interesting is the positioning of access control versus a lock.
Yeah.
A lock is a product, it's a solution. Access control is the problem.
Right.
And when I think about a lock is, it's a bunch of pistons. The lock itself is subject to a tremendous amount of different problems that a lock solves. Like you mentioned, being able to get a code for access, a code for maintenance, being able to have short-term rentals, having access, rekeying locks, like all the things around the existing solution were fairly kind of like complicated. And so like I think it's interesting to kind of like in that small little example of access control versus a lock, the framing of it begins to present the problem that is the lock solves versus the actual solution of the lock. Because if you're in the lock business, well, that could be like a $2 business, but you're in the access control business, that's a totally different problem that we're talking about.
Again, going back to the point that we're kind of trying to hone in on, it's not really about the lock and the mechanism behind it, but then the biggest thing is what can the lock unlock? It unlocks the possibility of integrations. So I think that's something that I learned that pretty early on, and with Asa, and we had a team within the corporate development side that I was a part of to just basically build out integrations. And when it comes down to sales, it's really easy to say, hey, these are the features of the locks, and this is what it can get you. But when you shift the conversation to, hey, the problem that I'm having is at 2 a.m. I don't want to send a key out, or I don't want to drive through the Colorado snow weather to get someone who's locked out of their apartment, versus, hey, I can be completely remote, I want to send a code, and that lock does not have Wi-Fi or any of the connections. Yeah. We're solving that use case, right? So I think and that is done through integrations. It's not really, yes, the lock will unlock the front door any day, all day, but it's really the integrations that that make it important. And I think that's why the partnerships around it become equally important, because you can't have integrations without actual true partnerships who are looking to see this opportunity in a similar fashion with a similar vision, that it's not just a code, it's not just a lock, it's more about, hey, what's the future opportunity here? So yeah, I think
that kind of gets the next part where like a lock by itself is about not letting people get in. Access control is about getting the right people in and keeping it secure at the same time.